All right, everybody. Greetings. Y'all ready? Let's go.
The truth set you free. In an age of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
This is the story today. Hello, everybody. Everybody. Yeah. Everybody. All right, let's get into the chat here. So, good evening. And, I haven't spoken about the old D-Rod in a minute. And, Ted Nugent is also part of this interview that we're going to check out. Now, Ted, I've always really enjoyed. Honestly, don't really know very much about the man's music. Can't scratch fever. Okay. And he was kind of crazy, wild kind of guy. Apparently, he was a very successful musician. Now has, is a conservative guy. He lives, I believe, he was in Michigan. Now he's in Colorado. I don't know. He lives in like he's like a sheriff. Where you'll hear more about him. You'll hear more about him. Anyway, we're going to get into this, and I hope everybody subscribes. Set your notifications. By the way, if you guys were following me before, my page was terminated here on YouTube, but I got it back. And if anybody has any termination problems, as you could see right here, I am Tony D, your host. All right, and right there, and right here's where you could find me in other places, but Instagram, if you want to send me a message. I'm on Facebook now too, but I mean, it's a real mess. There's just way too many. Way too many. He's in Texas now? Okay. I thought he was in Colorado, Michigan. I really don't know. I just know that he hunts. And quite frankly, I wanted to go. Hey, thanks so much for coming over, guys. And thanks so much, Will. This kind of feels like the late night talk shows where you get they toss to the next guy, and then I'm like the super late night guy, um so it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, welcome. So here we go. We're going to get into this. I got to share this screen. I forgot to put it in here. It's been a minute since I've done this style, if you will. Okay, and this is from D-Rod's page, and I hope everybody likes my thumbnails. I think I'm getting better at them. This is titled, the show is titled, Come and Take It, Dave Rodriguez. All right. Well, Will said, come here or else. That's good. I'm glad to have you guys here. We are going to have a good time because, I haven't talked about Dave in a hot minute, and Ted being on here is just, he's gone too far. It has gone too far. Let's take a look. Whoa, let me just apologize. I'm going to turn that. Let me just turn that down a little bit. Now, first of all, we are not but 3 seconds in to this, and we already see what's going on here with the microphone. Now, have we not discussed this before, Dave? What is he doing? He just insists on having it to the side and speaking in the microphone at the wrong angle. Now, you have certain microphones that are designed for certain things. And as I turn my head, I know what's happening with the mic because I could hear myself. I don't think Dave, after all this time, has has a fucking clue still, because I've seen one recently where someone put their hand in, they turned on his mic for him. I mean, it's like they put out his graham crackers and his cookies, and his milk. All right, so let's roll. I like Ted. This is a shame. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Now you would figure a guy who's supposed to be a professional musician who would have some kind of some modicum of quality for his voice. These two sound like they're in a bag of fucking potato chips. Okay, like I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna try not to curse, but I really don't care about the cursing. I'm not gonna try not to curse. I'm sorry. No grift in the midst. Well, first of all, Dave has named 2 of his songs. Okay. And I defy anybody in the chat to name more than 2. Oh, you can't hear them? It's just a couple seconds in. Thank you. So sorry, guys. See, look at this. I leave for like a little bit and then I come back and it's like fucking amateur hour for me. What did I do? All right. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, folks. It happens. There we go. Got the screen back up again. Now we're going to share it. Share audio. See, that's what happens every time. All right, here we go.
All right, I am on Nino'sCorner.tv. Joining me is Ted Nugent, legendary.
Sorry, I take a little of the freaking smoke out of that.
The myth, the legend. I love Cat Scratch Fever. I love Stranglehold, man. All your music is awesome. And you really, Ted, I love your outlook on life. I love the fact that you suffer from the same things I do, which is toxic masculinity.
5x5, sweet.
In a big way, man. I am literally the crowbar of testosterone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I always say to people, man, I go, Ted, people like yourself, or like, I used to listen in the boxing gym to AC/DC, Cat Scratch Fever, Stranglehold. And I used to use it as psychological warfare, and I'll tell you how I used to do that.
Dave has named 2 songs. And like I was saying there before, I had to fix the audio for you folks here because I apologize. My professionalism. I'm there. Anyhow, I would defy you to name more than those 2 songs of Ted Nugent's. Does anybody know like the whole catalog? Like what do you have, like a bunch of fucking Sweet records too? You listen to Sweet? And like Poi Dog Pondering, like you're like a vinyl collector if you listen to fucking Ted Nugent. All right. And there's nothing wrong with being a vinyl collector. I've got quite a collection of vinyl myself. The point is, it's a relic, as is Mr. Nugent. And fuck this guy. I mean, come on, man. They just have not gotten it as far as the quality of the broadcast of the program.
I used to have sparring partners that would fly in from Detroit, LA, really all over the country, all over the planet, really, that would come in to work with me in my training camps. And they would come in and put in their music, which would be, they try to take over the gym and put in the hip hop and all this stuff. And immediately I'd go up to their stereo, unplug it, put in my music, and guess what it was? It was Ted Nugent. It was AC/DC, and I'm telling you what, it would throw off their rhythm and make them look around like they're far away from home now. So,
Nino, you got to admit, man, if somebody puts on hip hop or rap, with all due respect, and I struggle to find any respect because I can't stand that music, but you have to admit, when somebody comes in to kick ass and they put on that crap, and then you put on Stranglehold, you're cheating because you have the Warrior soundtrack, the middle finger on fire, the defiant, we the people, man in the arena, in the swirling dust of battle. Oh. That's my music. God bless you, man.
Yo, dude, and let me tell you, man, it would throw them off. They knew.
I am telling you, if this was like some dinner or something, how many of you people who are here with me right now would try and find something high to jump off of? Because right now these two are talking and it's about to get into war, you know. Yeah, I remember back in the ring. Come on now. Cat scratch fever, man. I think I got it.
They knew
I don't even know what that is.
Man. So I gotta say,
I don't mean to interrupt, but check this out. Every day I run my dogs, I train my dogs, I go to the firing range and aim small, miss small practice. But for you, Nino, I have goosebumps.
Okay, let me just say one thing. That's a fat ass motherfucking tone that he squeezed out of that guitar. I mean, for real. You know, I'm just saying. He is a good guitar player.
Oh man,
that sounded great.
Oh, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. And you know,
I love that stuff.
Ted, I tell everybody, if I could do it all over again,
come on, guys, get to the crazy.
A guitar or a set of golf clubs, man.
This interview's not that long, but it's got a lot in it.
And I would have, man. You had my dream job, man.
Well, Nino, I got to tell you, you have a great and very powerful, believable. That's the most important attribute of a human being, especially in these horrible times of Marxism and corruption and criminal abuse of power by the government, the media, academia, and Hollywood. Is a heartbreaking time. But as a professional fighter,
a lot he says
God
is
knows
very agreeable.
I love the ballet of athleticism. You know, I watch Muhammad Ali. There's a musicality. There's a spiritual cadence to what you guys do.
Lynn.
But my name is Ted Nugent. I'm 72.7 years clean and sober. I've never abused my body because my mom and dad disciplined me to respect and revere the precious gift of life from God. Please.
Ergo, why he is not like, if he did some heroin, he would have been like 20 times more famous. I'm just saying, just a little Coke, maybe a little whiskey or something on the weekend. I mean, you know, maybe not a little whiskey, maybe a little Coke, maybe some pills. Maybe punch a couple photographers in the face or something like that. You know, shove a couple people, be an asshole. I don't know.
You just said
it's too much. This
you
guy
should elaborate on every one of your communication opportunities. Oh, God bless the athletes. And again, I watch you guys, and it really is a samurai Zen spirit ballet. But I try to avoid headaches. You guys jump in the arena and you actually seek headaches and head injuries. And
well, here's what happened with Dave, and that's a great question. What the fuck is that? What? Okay, there it is. What happened with Dave is this. Dave was out one night in Scottsdale. And he had just come off of a win, some kind of big championship. I think it was his biggest fight that he had just won. There are some allegations and rumors in the boxing mill that say that he took fights that were easy for him. You know, there are people that were in his life for a while that I know. who have said some things about him that some allegations of people that were very close to him for a very long time regarding allegations of animal abuse, and saying some things that were pretty nasty. But it was in the paper. This story's in the paper of how he got in this bar fight, and he I don't even know how to say this. He used a term that was bad about someone's color. And that was the allegation. That's what's in the newspaper, in the El Paso Herald or Times or something like that. You guys could look up, that he was in, and he claims that he got his throat cut, but he was actually cut on his face by the person that he called that name. So he was not attacked. He did something stupid, and he didn't. I'm not going to say no, Johnny. No, Johnny, I don't say that. Not even on my worst day. So essentially, he said it, and it is what it is. Now he's gone on to several television shows saying that he was attacked and his throat was cut, which is not the case. And you could look up those newspaper articles, and they're posted on some of my pages.
The CTE catastrophe. The gladiator days are over. You talked about a guitar and a golf club. Well, the same applies to my welding buddies, my mechanic buddies. They are such mad scientists, focused samurai carpenters and electricians that I would like to think that as a society where we're being attacked spiritually by evil forces, and I cannot overemphasize that. You know that. My dogs know that. You're my dog. But we need to wean Americans off the self-imposed spiritual and physical suicide of substance abuse,
transport gang. That's hilarious.
Insane, irresponsible, deadly diets. And with all due respect, all my athletic buddies out there, why would we celebrate two men? And I know the answer to this, but we have to get past it.
I know. Hey, it bothers me too.
And beating the living hell.
It actually really bothers me to see Ted on here with Dave, because look, I don't know how else to say this, but we got to get into the elephant in the room is sorry, Ted, but the elephant in the room is your wife, bro. And she is someone who is, look, I believe that extremism is unhealthy. No matter what the case. Whether it's your emotions, whether it's politics. I'm not a very political person, but I have a lot of respect for Ted, and I admire his relationship with his wife. I think they make a fantastic couple, and they have all the things, right? They seem to be very, very happy, and I would never begrudge that for a second. But I feel like she's a little over the deep end, along with him now being on this show with this whole, I mean, I think John's not come back. Okay. And Ted and his wife would be much better served helping a guy like maybe Ron DeSantis, who I think is a much stronger possibility for a conservative president. That's just my opinion. All right. So let's just listen to some more. And it's just going downhill from here.
Hell out of each other. And the guy that doesn't get CTE, the guy that doesn't become brain dead and crippled or dead, the guy that doesn't succumb to this self-imposed
hey, how are you, Miss Space Cake?
viciousness. And again, Nugent's a pussy. No.
I'm listening.
The man in the arena
as well.
Don't you think we need to wean ourselves off of intentional abuse the gladiator, it's over. They used to be forced to do that to each other. Now we're doing it on purpose.
It's
How
called
about
issues, Ted.
And don't get me wrong, okay? I like a lot of what Ted says. That's why I liked him. But when he comes on here, I lose an awful lot of respect, because Ted's conservative, sort of let me do my own thing out in the woods and let me hunt and do all. I love that. Right? He is to me, he is someone who lives the epitome of freedom and what America is about. He sort of like lives off the land a lot, from where he is. Of course, he's probably better off than most people, but he lives off the land. I have a lot of respect for a lot of things that he does, except for coming on this fucking show. God. Oh, Ted, what are you doing? Like, have you not looked into the whole connection between all these people and like, do you really believe them? And are you like real close? Do you clean your guitars with like some sort of agent that perhaps you breathe in? Oh, shit. Sometimes I really do. I do make myself laugh. Okay. And I live alone, so it's a good trait to have. What can I say? Honey, I told them that I live alone. I'm kidding. There's nobody here. All right. So, yeah, I'm so shocked that he was on here. And I saw this and I was like, you know what? I haven't talked about David in a while, but Ted, we love you. Ted needs a new manager. Ted, you don't need this guy. You don't need him. More people listen to you on your shit than it. Ted, you were my spirit animal. And now I'm sad. Sad. Okay.
And I got a
little dramatic dead air.
Issues.
There's a lot of manly, and there's being manly is what God created us to be the head of a
Who'd you say fuck Madison earlier? Yes, exactly.
To be the
but with a Y, please.
To be the nurturer, to
have
be
some
the
proper
cuddler,
spelling etiquette
to
in the
be
chat.
the emotional samurai,
Mad Dyson,
guiding our children into being uninhibited in their expressionism, both in a gentle, compassionate, empathetic way, but also being ready to attack the beast at the door. That's when you use that warrior athleticism. When your family or you or an innocent is assaulted, then you beat the living hell out of the attacker, because now
that's a signal,
that
Brian.
prowess, that samurai
Code.
prowess, should be identified as the good against the evil. And again, not just in a street fight, which is legitimate when you're stopping a carjacker, you're stopping a rapist. That's all legitimate. But how about you tough guys? Don't beat each other. Save it.
Beat other people.
Really stopping evil, neutralizing an assault or a rape or a carjacking or a burglary or a child abuse or a child kidnapping. I hope people on this.
Ted, you are talking to a guy that lives in El Paso, and he won't even go to the fucking border to bring his camera down to the border and actually do something other than sit here in his place like this. He's down there by the border. He is right in a town where people are walking across the thing. He's like, I see him. We'll go, do something about it. You big tough guy. I can't say that. I cannot say that, but it's funny. I mean, as a joke, I think I could say kick your ass back to wherever. If he's such a have Dave run a little cover down there at the border. I mean, I think if Dave is who he says he is, he could stop. I think about 200-300 people a day from coming in, from just running in. What do you guys think? I'm going 200-300. He doesn't even go to the border, Ted.
This is
Speak
podcast. But
Shemaine would go to the border.
Reevaluate our
Shemaine is his wife's
priorities.
name. She's tough.
I would
she is. She's
never
just a little
want to
too,
punch somebody as a sport. I'd rather just punch somebody. In fact, I won't punch him. I'll probably shoot him. I'll probably shoot him 3 or 4 times right in the middle if they're bringing evil unto an innocent life, whether it's mine, my wife Shemaine, my children, my neighbors, my dad. The real manliness is to be cocked, locked, and ready to rock the Glock around the clock, Dr. Spock, to be prepared as tough as you can be. And I'm an old man. I'm not as strong as I used to be. But Nino, I've done federal raids with the U.S. Marshals going after rapists and murder. I've been a sheriff deputy for almost 40 years now.
Now, this is not the BS that the other people are throwing. Okay, I just want you to know when Ted says this, he actually is telling the truth. Okay, so I don't want you guys to think that he's trying to grift right now and tell you that he has secret intel or whatever. He really is a sheriff, and he really has gone on some of those, and some of them are documented. You could look some of that up. Really interesting fucking guy. I wanted to, he does like a weekend of you can go and hunt with him on his ranch for like 10 G's. I was like this close, because I need a little break. You know what I mean? It's like this close. Yo, go and shoot guns with Ted Nugent for a fucking weekend? Are you kidding? Yeah. Let's go. Pack the bags. Let's just go. That would be so much fun. But now I can't.
No. Oh. So I have to have a manliness. And
are there unless he personally invites me and comes on my show
that have powerful samurai warrior spirit and capabilities? Well, yeah, way better than me. But they're to denounce or find fault with manliness is the manifestation of a cultural deprivation that we see
That's true,
exploding around us, where people are protesting and burning down family businesses. You're using the family businesses to get to your protest, you dirt bags.
Yeah. Ted Nugent for president.
So, God bless you for having me on. I didn't mean to monopolize this.
No.
But I do interviews every day, and I think there's a lot of misinterpretation out there, and you're the perfect guy. You're a warrior, not just a tough man physically, but you're a tough man spiritually.
Thank you.
And the two must come together. And that is Martin Luther King. That's Mother Teresa. That's Gandhi.
He's telling Dave he wants to have a sword fight.
Donald Trump. That's my buddies in law enforcement and military that are willing to run into that fire and sacrifice their lives to save an innocent. That's how toughness should be used. Not to beat each other up so a bunch of people can get drunk and celebrate somebody getting hurt.
Well, look, hindsight's 2020. I look back on it now and I'm like, what was I thinking? What possessed me to get in the ring 40 times? And
because society said that's the indicator of a man. And yes,
I'm sorry. I just, are you guys hearing what I'm hearing? Because I have, I got here. Let me show you. Okay, so what I essentially have is I got these right here. Okay, these are they're in-ear monitors. Okay, so they go up. There's wires down my back. Right, there's a wire down my back. So it's very much what I, very similar. But I have some other ones that have my ear mold in it. Those are the ones I would use on stage when I used to perform a tour. These are very similar. Okay, but they give you a very, very proper sound. These two guys, what I've noticed about Dave is that he never uses any headphones. He cannot hear himself. I just don't understand this.
It can be, but again, reevaluate the application. Do you really want to get a trophy for just hurting someone who didn't do anything? And
yes.
Again, I know people watching us right now. Nugent missing the whole point. No, I'm not. Anybody that doesn't get what I'm saying is missing the whole point. And you've come out and admitted it.
I understand
that honesty is manliness.
Ted, I understand it completely.
Are we supposed to have 3D glasses for Ted?
I'm on 8 months sober, okay?
Hallelujah. I'm 72.7.
So I'm going to ask you.
Wait a minute. Didn't he say a year before? Hello? Wasn't he saying a year just like a couple weeks ago? For his, like a month ago, it was a year, and now it's 8 months. How's that fucking work out, Dave? Oh, I'm sorry. Dave has access to time machines that take you from 1 year of sobriety back to 8 months. I don't even know. Guys. Do you hear what I'm saying? A year, and now he's. I gotta hear it again. I just gotta hear it again to make sure.
Being a rock and roll
application. Do you really want to get a trophy for just hurting someone who didn't do anything? And again, I know people watching us right now. Nugent missing the whole point. No, I'm not. Anybody that doesn't get what I'm saying is missing the whole point. And you've come out and admitted it.
I understand
that honesty is manliness.
Ted, I understand it completely. And I gotta say, I'm a year and coming on 8 months sober.
Oh, a year and 8 months.
Hallelujah. I'm 72.7.
So, I'm gonna ask you, being
Shut up,
a
Ted.
rock and roll star,
Shut up.
superstar, how did you didn't drink?
I'm sorry, but that was kind of a dickish thing. Yeah, that's really nice. For people who struggle with addiction and everything like that. He's like, you know what, Ted? Do me a favor. All right, go back and play the guitar again. All right, shut your fucking mouth.
I love you. Drink at all. You didn't. You were sober the whole time as a rock star.
No drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco, and no stupid food. Well, not no stupid food.
And no, I'm just kidding. That must have been a gold, at least, of the cat scratch bullshit.
Because when I was graduating from the anti-education system
bullshit
in 1967, by the way, look at this. Here's my priorities. Look at that.
Oh, there he is.
That's Happy Jackson, the Catahoula. But anyhow, I was raised, Nino, as a bow hunter. Now, let's really give the overview of what a bow hunter is.
A bow hunter
got to be super tuned into his surroundings.
Is someone who wears that shirt in every fucking interview ever, every camera appearance. I cannot remember when Ted Nugent has not come on an interview and not look like he just came off, like he smells like deer piss.
You talk about situational
Allegedly.
Awareness. When you're in the ring, you got to literally
From hunting.
anticipate the attack. You have to be so samurai. I keep using the word. Yes.
Samurai.
Well, as a bow hunter, it's so impossible. It's almost impossible to get close to a deer with a sharp stick.
Excellent.
God created them to avoid us with all this mystical 6th and 7th and 8th senses of escape. They're mystical. But when you apply yourself and you stumble in that arena, but you get back up and brush yourself off and you learn to take a conscientious step and be the brother of the deer, be the wind in the spirit life of God's creation. And believe me when I tell you this, bow hunters that eat venison have to do this, or you'll end up buying chicken, because if you're stumbling or if you're comfortably numb, you can't get close to a deer.
Yeah.
And you can't really appreciate your natural reasoning, predatorship, resource steward, conservation.
I mean, is it just me or is he just zero fucking chill? Like he is 130 miles an hour downhill in a hurricane kind of guy, it seems. Like, Ted, must you be so emphatic? And can we, I mean, what would happen if you, well, he's a sheriff. You can't spike his shit. He's not a normal person.
Reverence for the wise use of renewable resources. That's what venison is. While you're balancing the herds and the flocks, and you come away educated to your responsible role in nature. So when people offered me drugs and alcohol, which was everywhere, Nino,
yes, I couldn't buy no. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that you were sober. I did not know that.
I'm a defiant son of a bitch.
He's not
if
sober.
You propose something to me that my brain.
Listen, let's make this very clear. let me just tell you something from somebody who has been a drug and alcohol abuser. And I mean abuser. Dave. Yeah, I would say he has got like 30 of these shirts, unless it's the same one, which I wouldn't doubt either. You can't blame him. He does what he wants. Fuck it. The problem with these guys
says is stupid. You're balancing the herds and the flocks, and you come away educated to your responsible role in nature. So when people offered me drugs and alcohol, which was everywhere, Nino,
yes, I couldn't buy no. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that you were sober.
He just never touched it.
I'm a defiant son of a bitch.
I just don't think.
If you propose something to me that my brain says is stupid, I'm going to just tell you, no way, dirtbag. By the way, the people who offered me drugs and alcohol,
thing was he was just all about the pussy.
There was spittle in the corner of their mouths.
In his day.
They had boogers coming out of their nose. They couldn't form a sentence. They forgot this incredible, soulful Motown arrangement to the songs. And I'm going, wait a minute. You want me to partake in a process and an indulgence that reduces your level of awareness, causes you to stumble, drool, throw up, and die? I told Jimi Hendrix he was going to die, Nino. I told John Belushi he was going to die. I told Keith Moon he was going to die. I told Bon Scott he was going to die. I mean, come on, guys. Are you kidding me? You're stumbling and bumping in, and you don't even finish the damn song on stage. You're so wrecked. Wow. So luckily,
but those are rock stars.
I so valued what my dad taught me about stealth and responsible behavior, not just literally, but
you're a famous musician, Ted. You're not a rock star.
A step in life will be rewarded with a close encounter with a deer or picking up on the jam session with B.B. King or Chuck Berry. Wow. But if you're drunk or stoned,
I think I'm just mad at Ted.
Goes down. Can you imagine getting in the ring and being the best that you can be? If you're drunk or stoned, you're done.
No,
you're gonna get your ass kicked.
And Ted, I got to tell you, when I was boxing, I used to, like I said, you said, what makes a man get in there and fight another man? For me, it was issues. I had a lot of issues. I was bullied when I was younger.
Dave,
I had to learn how to defend myself, and I think it just, I felt like such a coward when I was a kid that it turned into something. It morphed into me having to prove myself throughout my whole life that I could fight, and that's what boxing, all boxing, really was for me. Yeah, was me proving to myself that I wasn't that kid that got beat up at school anymore. And
what a profound statement. Thank you for you're admitting your weakness.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's manly.
Yeah,
that's more manly than beating some guy up for no reason.
No, that's the underlying issue right there with me. And that's what plagued me my entire life. And now that I'm out of boxing and looking back on it, I'm like, I look back and I think, God, all the risks I took and the extremes that I juggled alcoholism and I juggled, fighting. I was just a head case. But I will say this, though. You're right. When I stopped drinking, when I gave up that life.
You know what? Is it just me, or is it every fucking time Dave comes on, he has guests, but the show's always about him. Like, Dave, here's why I believe personally, in my own opinion, which obviously a lot of people don't share out loud, is that, this is all for entertainment, education, but I really think that you're awful. Like, you're like, you are like the luckiest freaking person on YouTube. God, there's so much. I'm gonna have to do. I think I'm gonna have to do this again on like one of those other, like, what about BitChutes or something like that. But I'll tell you something. No.
And I went sober. I cannot believe how clear I see the world. My spidey senses took off.
It's
my
all about him.
Went through the roof. It's an amazing.
Fucking egomaniac.
That are still doing it. And they look sick. They're in their 40s. Something happens between 35 and 45. If you keep drinking, which I was on my way to do that, you deteriorate. You start looking sick and frail.
Nino, God gave us immeasurable. You and I have no idea. Well, maybe we have some ideas because when you're clean and sober, your intellect, your radar increases, your level of awareness, your omniscience will never be omniscient.
That's exactly why you drink and take drugs, to cut all that shit down.
Omnipotence. That's what we dream of.
That's a lot of fucking
and
noise.
When you're clean and sober, you're finding
noise.
These resources that God gave us that all of a sudden make you appreciate a sunrise better. It gives you better
My compressor's
sex.
a little heavy.
Depression. It gets rid of depression.
Yes.
I had depression. I don't have it anymore.
There it is. That's better.
It clears your gift of intellect and exploratory intellectual adventure. And that's what life is. You're born at point A. I've had some New York Times bestsellers, and I'm just a guitar player. I never went to college. I was too busy learning stuff.
Yeah, but have you ever taken too much acid and your friends turn into demons and chase you in the rain for 2 hours? Have you also taken said acid after this alleged situation and see scorpions raining from the sky? I guess not. Have you ever taken mushrooms and walk from one end of Manhattan to the other because you were in a place that was a little confined and you just wanted to get some air, so you disappeared for 2 days? Probably not. See, I gotta tell you something. You miss out on a lot.
The point is, I said this over 50 years ago when I was doing interviews, and I was coming out against my friends who were drunk and stoned and dying. And I'm going, why? And I said, God Almighty, I just thought of this during an interview back in the 60s. I said, you're born at point A. We're all dying at point B. Do you want that adventure reduced, or do you want that adventure expanded as a thank you to God for the gift? Why would you put bad food in vulgar quantities and poison and chemicals into your sacred temple? How about when I would do interviews in the 60s and 70s, I'd use the term sacred temple. They didn't know what I was talking about.
God made drugs. Okay? God made drugs. Let's just cut the crap. We all know that God made drugs. And the drugs are okay. Just not too many of them. And obviously, not too little of them. Maron.
I was trained and disciplined. I'm going to talk about that, real important. By my dad and my mom, and the world I lived in is Detroit.
Yeah, everybody's got a pass
arsenal
for
of
sure.
democracy, pride of productivity, the work ethic, the whole
myself
world
included,
knew was the greatest work ethic in the world. But that discipline made me be more conscientious about how I live. Plus, my dad would have kicked my ass. God bless that. So I want to salute you and all the warriors, even though they haven't prioritized like you have, and it will come. When they get clean and sober, their sense of reason and logic will come clearer into focus. And when it comes clearer into focus, you ask yourself, what did I do with today's gift of life? But you guys were so disciplined to be the fighter. And that's a great discipline. The whole samurai warrior training that is so ubiquitous in the world as being the best that you can be, a higher level of awareness, identifying when the
how long did you follow that frog?
You can counter it, which is exactly what you guys did. So a big salute to your discipline, like the greatest musicians in the world's discipline, the work ethic you put in.
Look, I personally, I do not condone drug abuse, illegal drug use, but I've done a lot of drugs, and I gotta say that if I had to do it over again, all right, I mean, I would have done a lot more, quite honestly.
into it should be saluted, but never is there an excuse. I know I'm pissing people off, which I'm really good at. When can your brain tell you it's a good idea to beat the living hell out of someone for a belt?
Yeah.
Are you? My sons are monster athletes, and I said, don't play football. I mean, come on, smashing the head. I mean, I know that. I know.
Well, yeah, you have to suffer from CTE the rest of your life. That's a risk you're taking. And let me tell you, I notice. My memory is shot, man. I have a terrible memory. There's certain things that I suffer from that I know that I'm not the same guy I was. You know, there's certain things that I suffer from. I walk into a room every day and wonder why I'm in that room.
But that's so educational to people. Thank you for being brave enough to admit that. Yeah. My 18-year-old grandson, Jack, he's an absolute warrior. I mean, he's 6'6". He's a basketball monster. He's the state champion golfer.
Oh, up 6'6", showed it by the fuck, get her lipstick. Sorry. Wasn't too many reels. Too many TikToks.
In Michigan.
Wow.
So he has to discipline equal to any of your athleticism or any of the fighters and boxers and wrestlers and cage fighters, but he's taking it out on a ball and focusing the path of his ball/life to the cup, and nobody's getting hurt. Hello? So that's that's the goal.
Sorry, my dogs are barking. Ted, I just want to let's switch gears real quick. I want to get your outlook on what's happening with the country right now, man. I mean, how does it feel to watch your beloved country basically get flushed down the toilet and being actively taken over by communists right now? I mean, that's what we're seeing. What's your view on that? What's your outlook on all this that's unfolding before our very eyes? It's like we're in a plane and it's in a nosedive.
I will not give you an outlook or an opinion or my view.
Okay.
I will share with you the inescapable, irrefutable evidence that everything you're saying is true. And I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but again, I care. I participate in this sacred experiment in self-government, been doing since the 60s, which is why the media and the left hate me, because when I bring truth, logic, and common sense and a tsunami of evidence to support my statements, the Piers Morgans of the world are helpless. The CNN dirtbags are helpless to respond. They typically have to go, well, let me play devil's advocate. Well, if you're going to counter the truth, logic, and common sense that I just shared with you, you would have to take the side of Satan. So It's very important that you identify you're admitting to counter Ted Nugent to be a devil's advocate.
Right.
So here it is. Here's the evidence. Number one, good, caring, conscientious Americans and people around the world. Go to my Facebook. I get people coming from every corner of the globe that express what you're articulating. And that universal cry and hue
they just might Pixie.
Around the world is, Ted, how did Americans let this happen? How did Americans let not?
Now, it is undeniable that Ted has some really good wisdom here. And this is the problem, is that this is where Ted's cool came to die. Today. Right here in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. It's a shame.
Nazi procedures,
but he is patriotic.
Global's propaganda ministry, denial of the Nuremberg trials conclusion that no man, no government can force medicine or experimental medicine on civilians, on citizens. How are you letting it happen? So the first point I'm going to make is that everyone is heartbroken. Everyone is shattered. But here's the most important lesson that you know better than anybody. If you're going to get in that ring and fight like an absolute warrior, you need good food. You need good sleep. You need to compartmentalize. Because if all you're doing is strategizing how to counterpunch the culture war monsters, you'll have an aneurysm. It's so ugly right now.
Yeah.
So do what Uncle Ted does. Fight like the man in the arena against the evils of the Democrats, the media, big tech, the Marxists, the fact that the Chinese government, financed by Nancy Pelosi, healthy and alive.
I'm just going to jump forward a little bit.
Do an interview with any 72-year-old you want.
No, they're decrepit. They don't have the life, the vibe.
It's quality of life based on using your head. I don't let Mr. Hand grab Mr. Poison,
no doubt,
and put it in Mr. Mouth. I'm in charge of my hands. My brain says, don't grab garbage and eat it. Don't. I mean,
and you know what? I want to ask you this too, Ted, because you've met Trump before, correct? A few times, probably.
Who's that now?
Is the only gigs he does?
You've met him before.
Oh, absolutely. He's a samurai.
He's also alcohol.
Another samurai.
He's also sober. He's been sober his whole life, right?
Yes.
That's not
why
sober.
He can speak and he's not afraid.
Jeez. I wish I would have learned. I wish I would have learned at a younger age.
You know, you're doing great. You're doing God's work. You look great. You sound great. You think great.
And you smell great.
Point. This is a culture war. You're a warrior in the culture war. And those of us that benefit from your sacrifices, your dedication, and your courage to speak out when the censorship monsters are crushing freedom of speech every day, you're doing God's work. Don't ever forget that.
I should do phone sex work.
I bask.
Yeah, go ahead. Take off your jeans. Take off your pants. You're bulging in your jeans, Ted Nugent. Is that what you're doing, David Rodriguez?
Speaking out, not what you believe, what you know is true. It's not, these aren't your views. Yeah, the Constitution isn't a view. The Ten Commandments aren't a hunch. The Golden Rule isn't a presumption. So thank you. And thank you for having me on and sharing this campfire. But I'm going to have you on the Ted Nugent Spirit Campfire on YouTube and Facebook. I can't believe they haven't completely chopped me off.
They got me out of there. I'm not on Facebook anymore. They got rid of me.
See, it's unbelievable. I can't. Well, anyhow, so everybody go to foxnation.com and witness the core beliefs expressed unapologetically and unafraid on a Tucker Carlson interview.
That's right. He went from
I do this every
Tucker
day.
Carlson. He went on Tucker Carlson like the night before to Dave Rodriguez. He went from the $5,000 a night hooker, like the classy shit, and then he went like, now he's like, now he's like in a motel room, like in Bakersfield, with like a bag of crack and two lot lizards. Anyway.
And so far, so
you know what I'm saying.
I celebrate that thousands and thousands of people. Go to my Facebook and read. I know you can't get out, but whatever. Go to mine or whatever. People have become clean and sober because I keep pounding it. People have compartmentalized. They fight. They.
I'm clean and sober, and all I did was pound it.
They focus on quality time with family. I've caused thousands of people to become archers because when you come to full draw, there's no Nancy Pelosi.
What?
When you come to full draw, there's no Hillary Clinton. When you come to full draw, there's no Dr. Fauci punk.
Right.
I'm telling you, you need to cleanse the soul.
These opinions are parody and educational.
Believe me when I tell you that.
And not the views expressed by the Veritas machine.
And center me.
Where are you at, Nina? Where do you live?
I'm in El Paso, right on the border.
Well, hell, I'm just up here by Waco, man. We got to run. I'm heading back to Michigan soon. I book hunts all over our swamps and forests.
You do what? You book what?
I do that September, October, November. But when I get back,
I'm just kidding. I know it's hunting.
You're going to come to Spirit Wild Ranch with Shemaine and I'm going to personally train you on archery.
Oh, wow.
And remember, you're a strong guy, but when you shoot your bow, it has to be graceful. You can't, not weightlifting. It's stealth and grace. And when you come to full draw and you bring that arrow back,
he's always got an arrow.
World is the path
Ted's like,
of the arrow.
you know, I just happen to have an arrow.
Your whole world is coalesced.
And then you shoot it into the head of an elk, which I happen to have right here.
All the stress, Nino, it vanishes. Just a few arrows a day. I shoot about 20 arrows a day, and I aim small.
That's actually very cool.
And even though I'm shooting at targets, I shoot at 3D targets, 3D animal targets.
What?
So I learn to focus on the vitals for a quick, humane kill. That's what makes me dangerous, because my soul is cleansed and my batteries are charged and my spirit is on fire because I give a damn.
Like
so
someone
here,
with a tomahawk.
HunterNation.org. Be sure that everybody is a member of the National Rifle Association, Gun Owners of America, your state firearms association, and hammer your mayor, senator, congressman, governor. If you're not hammering,
everybody go hammer
they'll
your
walk
mayor.
all over you.
I don't think that's
what we're waiting right
it's
now.
HunterNation.com to
here's
contact
my arrows
your mayor,
next to my
your
guitar.
representatives.
Yep.
And then FoxNation.com, the Tucker Carlson interview with you and Tucker Carlson.
All right. And that is going to be about it for this round. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for joining me here today. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. That was a pretty good one. Ted Nugent and Dave just crazing out, man. Just like, hey, bro, you know, let's just, 19's coming. And it's going to be 19, which I still can't figure out the math of 19. I still can't get it. And like I said, Ted Nugent, if anybody can name any songs other than Cat Scratch Fever, which is on all the collection, you know, the rock and roll collection things, rock from the 70s and 80s. You know, I'm all out of love, like all those things, right? And I'll tell you something, it is going to be biblical, because I think someday the day will come, because it's turning around, because, you know, having a lot of these people come back, and, you know, we try and get out some good stuff to people and make sure that they could just see, like, hey, make your own decision. Don't let these people like warp you, you know. Thank you, Sky Queen. I'm going to be on the night shift coming at you guys quite a bit. So I know it's hard to wind down after Will's show. So we're going to try and keep you up even a little bit later. But we're going to see you next time around. And and by the way, I do have PayPal and all that other stuff. But I ask that if you guys ever wanted to contribute to this show, please go and contribute to Will's cause and his GoFundMe. And, you know, obviously there's links in both of our descriptions, so you guys can go do that. So and I appreciate it. So any of the stuff that's come my way lately, I just sort of have given to Will. I think that's the thing to do, because, you know, we got to help out people, right? Doing the right thing. And I really do appreciate you guys being here with me. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Nobody else is going to. Let's do this. Take us out. Full send.
The truth set you free.
We're going to keep doing this late night thing for a little while here. 322. 322. To know me is to love me.
In an age of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
I'm only old and crabby on days that end in Y. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you subscribe. Share this out. A lot of people, I think, are going to like this and enjoy the time we all had together. And I do appreciate you. One, 2, 3, 4. You know, I wrote that. Got some more music coming up. Jay and I are going to be doing something too, so that's exciting, and I really appreciate you guys joining me. Until next time, full send.